Okay, so today I told you we were going to finish this foldable, so I've got this one in my notebook. I'm going to finish the variables on both sides part, and then I'm going to go over the steps. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, get this ready to finish this part up here. So I'm doing the variables on both sides part, so I'm starting with number 4. So it says solve the inequalities below. In order to solve the inequalities below, I'm going to move all of the x's to the left like I did with equations and all the numbers to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So I've got 4x here. Actually, put this down a little better. So I've got 4x, and I want to move it to the other side. It's already positive, so I'm going to subtract 4x. So 9x, and I'm going to bring down the minus 8 greater than or equal to the negative 26. Okay, now I'm going to add the 8 to the other side. Now, if you would rather do all that in one step, that's fine if you understand what I'm talking about. If you don't, then don't do that. 9x is greater than or equal to negative 26 plus 8, I think, is 16, but I better check because you never know. It's negative 18. See, that's why you got to check. All right, next I'm going to divide by 9. Again, I'm not going to graph it because I don't have that on, I don't have a graph right here. So x is greater than or equal to, kind of close to the camera, negative 2. Okay, I didn't flip the inequality symbol because I didn't divide by negative. 9 wasn't negative. Like a few minutes ago, not a few minutes ago, yesterday and every other video, pause this, try number 5, try number 6, okay? I notice I had parentheses on number 5 and number 6, so I'm going to have to bring everything down that's not in parentheses and distribute this negative 8. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x, and negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. Okay. Now I'm going to do what I said before. I'm going to move the variables to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and add this 8x. Now make sure you can see. Okay. Negative 5x plus 8x is 3x. And I'm going to bring down everything else. Minus 11. Don't forget the symbol. It's not equals. Less than 16. That's what inequality actually means. It's not equal. It is something else. All right. Now I'm going to add 11. So 3x is less than 27. And last, I'm going to divide by 3. So x is less than 9. Okay. Try number 6. Pause the video. Figure that one out. I'll help you. Well, I'm going to solve it with you in a minute. Okay. It's going to bring down 7x plus 9 is greater than. In case you forget which one is which, by the way, your left hand, it's going to be hard to see in the video, but your left hand makes an L. Left hand is less than. That's the less than symbol, so left hand is less than, and then the other one's just greater, but your left hand makes a less than, okay? All right, now let's distribute 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And bring down plus 6x. Okay, now let's combine some like terms here before we do anything else. 3x plus 6x is 9x. There's a lot going on in this one. Bring down everything else. Minus 3 plus 9, 7x. Okay. I'm going to move the variables to the left. I've done that every time. That's what I'm going to do this time. Minus 9x, minus 9x, negative 2x, plus 9 is greater than negative 3. Okay. Now move over the 9, so subtract 9. Negative 2x is greater than negative 12. And last, divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. That means x is fine, but it's now less than 6. Switch it around if you divide by a negative, okay? Alright, we're going to summarize the steps here, and then we're going to try some word problems. So we're going to open up the whole thing down here and talk about what steps we used. So we use the something something to remove any grouping symbols. Grouping symbols meaning parentheses and stuff. We use the distributive property to do that. Okay. Then we did something on each side of the inequality. Combined like terms. Is what we did. Then we move the variables to the left side of the inequality. Where we've been saying the equation, well, an inequality is the right word for when they're not equals. And then we use inverse operations to solve. Don't forget to switch the inequality symbol when multiplying or dividing by negative. Don't forget that. You'll miss things if you forget that, okay? All right, now, this foldable was under yesterday's video. Under today's video, you've got another one that we're going to use, and we're going to do that on pages 16 and 17. So I'm going to put the notebook to the side for now, and we're going to get this. So we're still working with inequalities. We're going to write inequalities and solve them. We're using colors and information boxes just like we did last week. So here's what we got going on. Number 1, Svetlana's hair is 4 centimeters long. Okay, that's important, so we're going to highlight it. She's got hair that's 4 centimeters long. Her hair grows 1.5 centimeters a month. Her hair grows 1.5 centimeters a month. She wants her hair to grow to at least 7 centimeters long. She wants her hair to grow at least 7 centimeters long. And this word at least is going to help us out. I didn't put a box around it. Write and solve an inequality. We highlight the question in yellow, even though it's not in question form. Write and solve an inequality to determine the number of months M this will take. M months. Here's what we got to decide. We've got 3 numbers. The variable has to go with one of those numbers. So her hair is currently 4 centimeters. It grows, plus because it gets longer, 1.5 every month. Each month or a month means the variable goes with the 1.5. Now, we have to decide. This is an inequality. Inequalities are less than, greater than, or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. She wants her hair to grow to at least 7 centimeters. Let's think about what at least means. She wants her hair to be 7 centimeters, but could it be longer? That's what at least means. It means it could be bigger. That's fine. That means that this could be bigger than 7. So I need this to be greater than or equal to, because it could be bigger than 7, but it definitely needs to be 7. Okay, now we're going to solve. So now it's just a 2-step inequality. It's a good idea for you to take some time and solve that. Okay. Subtract 4. So 1.5 M is greater than or equal to 3 by 1.5. M is greater than or equal to 2. So let's look at what the question is. She wants her hair to grow to at least 7 centimeters, right? And solving inequality to determine. We are supposed to determine the number of months this will take. This will take at least, because I'm using their words, at least 2 months. At least 2 months. Okay, let's try number 2. You should try number 2 on your own, but okay, Pine Bluff Middle School, that's a town, by the way, in Arkansas. Pine Bluff Middle School is having its annual Spring Fling dance, which will cost $400. Okay, important. This dance is going to cost $400. 400. The student treasurer reported that the dance fund has $75 left over from last year. $75 left over. We already have $75. Each ticket to the dance costs $4. Write and solve an inequality to determine how many tickets must be sold to pay for this year's dance. Okay, we have a variable. We have to decide what it goes with. $400 is going to be the total cost, which means we might have wanted to put that back here, but we don't have to. $75 left over from last year. Okay, this is just one big amount of money that they have left over. And each ticket costs $4. There's our key word, each. Each means the ticket price, T, is going to go with 4. Okay. This is how much money they're making. What they had plus what they're getting per ticket. This is how much it's going to cost. We need to determine how many tickets must be sold to pay for this dance. Okay, so let's think about what's got to go on. To pay for the dance, you're going to need which of these to be bigger? We probably are going to need the ticket sales to be bigger than the cost of the dance. Which means I'm going to write so that the larger side is facing this way. This is a less than symbol, meaning the cost is less than the amount of money they're taking in. If you had written it 75 plus 4t, it would have needed to be greater than 400. Okay, so cost is less than the ticket price. That makes sense. Okay, now let's solve. So we're going to subtract 75. $325 is less than or equal to 4t. Divide by 4 is 81.25. Not writing it in the right place, guys. 81.25. Now, I got a problem. I can also write it as t is greater than or equal 81, greater than or equal to 81.25. Here's my problem. This is telling me that I need to sell at least 81.25 tickets. Can I sell 0.25 tickets? No. And if I can't sell 0.25 tickets and I only sell 81, guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to make $400. I'm going to have to round up based on what the question asks. So, they must sell 82 tickets to pay for this year's dance. And I should have said at least, because they could sell more. It would be better if they did. But my apostrophe there. You can't see that. Here you go. One more question. It's a good idea for you to pause it and try it on your own. Okay. All right, I'm going to flip over to number 3. Yellow taxi, yellow cab taxi, evidently I can't read anymore, charges a $1.75 flat rate. That means you only pay it one time. $1.75. In addition to 65 cents per mile. 65 cents. Okay. She has no more than $10 to spend on a ride. Write and solve an inequality to determine how many miles M Katie can travel without exceeding her budget. That means it can't go over that. M, we got to think about where it goes. A flat rate in addition, plus, to 65 cents per, that means this gets the variable, mile. She doesn't have more. That means the cost of the ride cannot be more than 10. That means it needs to be less than. It can be equal to because she has 10, but it sure can't go over. Okay, let's solve. Subtract 1.75. 0.65 M is less than or equal to 10 minus 1.75 is 8.25. Divide by 0.65. I'm going to see how many miles she can travel. Okay, I got big long decimal. 12.6923. I'm going to write a lot of it out, and I'll show you why. You can go like a tenth of a mile and whatever else. That's fine. But we need to talk about something. If we're writing this in a sentence, and it says round to the nearest tenth, we would say 12.7, right? But wait, she can't spend more than $10. If I plugged in 12.7, it comes out to a little more, barely, but a little more than $10. She can't afford that. We have to round down, not up, because she doesn't have that kind of money. So she can travel no more than 12.6 miles, and that's cutting it close. Okay? So depending on the context, you have to round. It's a little different than what it normally is, where you just round up, down, up how you're supposed to, and leave it alone when you're not supposed to. All right, we're cutting this. Cut the extra space off. And then we're going to glue in your notebook, and then we're going to label your notebook, and we're going to fix your tab, and then we're going to be done. Okay, so cut straight down the middle. Once you cut out the extra space, here's what you got. We're gluing this one on page 16, this one on 17. And I'm labeling 16 and 17. So 16, 2.4, creating inequalities. glue in this one right there. Okay. 17, also 2.4. Glue in number 3 right here. Okay, last thing before the video ends today, go to your tab. See, we're almost done with this unit. This started on 14. I want to make sure that's right and I didn't mess up somewhere. Oh, it started on 14. It ended on 17. We'll finish this week with this last tab, and then we'll get a new unit tab, okay? You need to do the homework that is posted on Google Classroom, and I will see you tomorrow.